Welcome. I am the Body Whisperer, and I am glad you are here. Let us go quietly inside you to meet Inflammation Ida, one small part of you that keeps working through the night while you sleep. Inflammation Ida, the body's fire alarm, shows how a life-saving acute signal becomes a quiet, sleepless hum in the heart's vessel walls, and how a night of deep sleep is the only reset that lets the alarm fall silent. But first, let us settle in together. Find a comfortable position. Let your arms grow heavy, your legs, your shoulders. Take a slow breath in and let it go. One more. In and release. Good. Now, while you rest here doing nothing at all, something quiet is happening inside you. Your body is working. It always is. Every hour of every day, without ever asking for thanks. I want you to get to know it a little better, to listen to it, to feel it, to appreciate it. Because the more you understand the quiet world beneath your skin, the more at home you feel inside your own body. There is nothing you need to do now. Nowhere to be, nothing to figure out. Just breathe. Close your eyes if you have not already, and let us begin. There is a quiet piece of work going on inside you right now, and it has been going on every night of your life. The breath slows, the shoulders drop. The weight of the day begins to lift from the arms, from the jaw, from the small muscles behind the eyes. And somewhere deep in the chest, steadier than anything else in the room, a heart keeps time. His name is Harvey. Harvey is a remarkable piece of work, a fist-sized pump of deep crimson muscle whose entire existence is the beat. Every contraction moves blood through a network of vessels that, if you laid them end to end, would circle the room more times than you could count. He has been at this since before you were born. He has never called in sick. He has never asked for a break. He would if you pressed him like a thank you card. He would like his rest. And here is the thing about rest, the thing that gets missed in the noise of the day. The heart is not merely a pump that slows down while you sleep. It is a building that does its most careful repair work after everyone else has gone home. The walls of Harvey's vessels, those long, smooth corridors that carry blood outward and home again, are living tissue. They are lined with cells, so thin they are almost transparent. And while you sleep, those cells quietly tend themselves. Harvey knows this. He has always known this. It is the reason, on a deep biological level, that a body wants sleep at all. Now meet Ida. Ida is a fire alarm. Not a large one, not a loud one, but real and necessary, and very, very good at her job. Her job, to be exact, is to notice when something has gone wrong in the tissue and raise a fast, local signal. That signal is inflammation, a word that comes from the Latin for flame, and the naming is honest. When Ida sounds, the body sends blood rushing to the site. The area grows warm. It reddens. Repair crews arrive. The work gets done. That is inflammation at its finest. A precise, urgent local answer to a real problem. A splinter, a cut, a germ that got in through the wrong door. Ida sounds the alarm. The body responds. And then, and this is the whole story, really, the alarm is meant to stop. Sharp, short, done. The trouble is not Ida. The trouble has never been Ida. The trouble is an alarm that never quite returns to silence. Not a blaze, nothing so dramatic. Just a low, steady hum, running in the background like a faint electrical buzz through the walls of an old house. Nobody hears it. Nobody is jolted awake. It just persists, hour after hour, day after day, sending out small chemical messengers, the body's signaling molecules, called cytokines, into quiet spaces where there is no fire to answer. And one of the places that hum tends to settle is inside Harvey's vessel walls. The vessel walls near the heart are not passive pipes. They are active, responsive, living surfaces. They respond to what flows past them. They respond to the chemistry of the blood. And when that chemistry carries a low, quiet alarm signal, when cytokines drift through the corridors, suggesting that something, somewhere, might be wrong, those walls begin to respond to a message that does not need answering. Slowly, gently, without any drama at all, Ida knows this. She does not enjoy it. An alarm is meant to be answered and silenced. An alarm with no reason, no fire, and no off switch is a kind of professional failure she does not take lightly. But she is a mechanism, not a choice. She sounds when the conditions call for her to sound. And some conditions, a body that is running short on sleep, stretched thin across too many short nights, hold those conditions in place longer than they should. Here is what happens in the sleeping body, stripped to its plainest truth. Sleep is the body's recalibration. It is not rest in the passive sense, not simply a pause, not a blank. It is a period of active, organized work. The heart rate settles into a slower, more variable rhythm, a kind of easy conversation between the nervous system and the heart, called heart rate variability. Harvey, in those deep hours, gets the pressure off. The blood moves more gently. The vessel walls, relieved of the day's demands, can tend to themselves. And the alarm, in a well-rested body, is allowed to fall silent. Cytokine levels drift down. The hum fades. Harvey's walls get a quiet stretch of calm. Ida finally stands down. That standing down matters more than almost anything else sleep does for the body. Not because inflammation is a villain. It is not. It has never been. But because a body that sleeps is a body that gives the alarm permission to stop. The fire was answered. The crew has left. The room is quiet. Let the breath come easy now. Let the chest rise and fall at whatever pace it finds. Harvey is at work. Ida is watching the quiet. The vessel walls are doing the slow, patient business of tending themselves in the dark. This is what the night is for. Nothing is required of you now. Not thinking, not planning, not remembering. All of it can wait until morning. The vessel walls are doing the slow, patient business of tending themselves in the dark. This is what the night is for. And here is where it helps to understand Ida a little better. Not the Ida who hums in empty rooms. The real Ida, the original one, the one who saved the body the first time she was called. Ida is the body's fire alarm. That is not a metaphor chosen lightly. It is almost exactly what she does. When tissue gets hurt, or when something that does not belong arrives in the bloodstream, Ida trips. She trips fast. A small signal goes out, a chemical messenger, something called a cytokine, meaning a tiny protein that carries instructions to neighboring cells. The instructions are simple. Something is here, come now. And the repair crews come. Blood flow rises to the spot. The area goes warm, maybe a little swollen, maybe red. These are not signs that something has gone wrong. They are signs that the body has noticed something and is already fixing it. The warmth is the body arriving. The redness is traffic at the scene. That is Ida at her best. Brief, local, and purposeful. She rings the alarm. The crews show up. The work gets done. And then this is the part that matters. She stops. The signal quiets. The traffic clears. The vessels ease back to their resting size. The cytokines dissolve away. The whole operation takes what it needs to take and no longer. That is the design. That is what the body has spent a long time learning to do. Harvey has felt this many times. A small nick in a vessel wall, a minor intrusion in the bloodstream. Ida goes off, the crews arrive, the wall is patched, and the hum goes quiet before morning. Harvey barely registers it. He just keeps his rhythm. Boom, 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 steady as he has always been. He is not a dramatic organ. He has no time for drama. He is somewhere around 100,000 beats in a single day to account for, and he gives every one of them the same quiet attention. He would simply like the machinery around him to cooperate. But here is the thing about alarms. They are not actually smart. A smoke detector does not know whether there is a fire or someone burned the toast. It knows one thing, something triggered it, so it rings. Ida is the same. She has a threshold, a level of signal that once crossed starts the whole sequence. Below the threshold, quiet. Above it, ring. She does not pause to verify. She does not wait for confirmation. The system is designed for speed, not deliberation. When tissue is under attack, the body cannot afford a long committee meeting. The trouble, and it is a quiet trouble, not a dramatic one, is that the threshold can drift. Not because Ida is broken, because the conditions around her have changed. Think of it this way. A fire alarm mounted near a kitchen stove is set for the same sensitivity as every other alarm in the building. It does not know it is near the stove, so it trips more easily. Not because there are more fires, because the background heat is a little higher all the time. Ida, near Harvey's vessel walls, in a body that has been running a little too long on too little sleep, is something like that alarm near the stove. The background signal has crept up. Not a fire, just enough ambient heat that the threshold gets crossed more easily and more often, and sometimes without anything at all having gone wrong. The signal that goes out is smaller than an acute alarm. Much smaller, but it goes out all the same, and it goes out again tomorrow. And the day after, the vessel walls feel this. Not all at once, slowly. The way a door that sticks on a damp morning is not broken. It has just absorbed a little more than it should, a little at a time, until the fit is no longer quite right. Harvey knows this. He has been feeling the fit for a while now. Not complaining, he does not do that, but he knows. The walls themselves are a more delicate structure than they appear. The inner lining of a blood vessel, called the endothelium, meaning the very first layer of cells that the blood actually touches, is only one cell thick in places. One cell. A surface that fine is not fragile exactly, but it requires care. It requires the low alarm state that good sleep creates. A state where the cytokines quiet down, where the repair signals can run without interference, where the endothelium can replace worn cells and seal small gaps without a competing signal telling it there is still something to fight. Sleep is when that competing signal drops. Not because the body stops working, quite the opposite. The body is busy while you sleep, busy with the kind of work it cannot do while it is busy staying upright and alert. The repair of Harvey's vessel walls is precisely that kind of work. Patient, careful, slow. It asks for a quiet background. It asks for Ida to be standing down. And on a good night, that is exactly what happens. Ida stands down. The endothelium goes about its quiet business. Harvey holds his steady rhythm in the dark, and the vessel walls tend themselves the way they were always meant to. The alarm was never the problem. It was the alarm that forgot to stop. That is the whole difference. Not a flaw in the design, a drift from the quiet it was meant to return to. The night is deep now. Deep and still, and very comfortable. There is nothing to do here, nothing to solve. You just need to be present in this quiet, in this dark. There is something worth understanding about Ida before we go further. She is not reckless. She is, in fact, extraordinarily precise, or at least she is meant to be. Think of her as a signal that travels on a wire. The wire runs everywhere. It runs through muscle and skin, through the soft lining of the gut, and along the inner walls of the vessels that carry blood away from Harvey and back again. When the signal fires, it fires for a reason. A splinter, a germ, a small tear in the tissue. It fires, it does its work, and then the wire goes quiet. That is the full intended arc. Fire, work, quiet. The wire going quiet is not a passive thing. It is not simply that the signal stops. Something has to stop it, a whole separate set of chemical messengers, the body's own brakes, sent out after the repair is done to call the alarm off. The body builds the fire, and then it builds the exit door. Both are part of the same design, and here is the part that is easy to miss. That exit door, those chemical brakes, takes time to build. And it takes something else too. It takes a drop in the body's general level of alertness. A true biological settling. The kind that only happens when the muscles release their held tension, when the breath slows from a working rhythm to a resting one, when the eyes close and the deep part of the brain decides, at last, that there is nothing left to watch for. In other words, it takes sleep, not a suggestion of sleep, not an hour stolen between obligations. The full, unhurried descent, the kind where the body crosses from light rest into something slower and deeper, where the work of the day is set aside not just by the mind, but by the chemistry. Harvey knows this in his way. He has been running since before the first breath, and he has never stopped. Around 60 times every minute, the chambers fill and push, fill and push. A labor so steady and so old that the body long ago stopped thinking of it as labor at all. But inside the walls of his vessels, something quieter happens through the night. The endothelium, that single-cell-thick inner lining, the body's smoothest surface, does a kind of slow, careful housekeeping. It tends to small roughnesses. It releases substances that keep the vessel walls supple. It is maintenance work, and like most maintenance work, it goes best when nobody else is making demands. Ida knows this. When she is running, even at her low background hum, the one with no true fire behind it, she sends signals that reach those endothelial cells. The cells hear her. They cannot choose not to. A signal arrives, and the cell responds. It shifts its chemistry slightly, tightens something here, opens something there. None of it is dramatic. None of it would show on any surface you could see. It is simply that the housekeeping gets harder to do. The maintenance crews are redirected. The small roughnesses do not get quite as much attention. Night after night, that is what a hum without a fire costs, not a sudden damage, but a slow incompleteness. The work that was supposed to happen in the quiet hours gets done in halves. This is why the body does not treat sleep as optional, even from Harvey's perspective. He does not have an opinion about it, exactly. He simply beats a little differently when the conditions are right. His rate slows. The interval between beats stretches and varies in a small, healthy way, a quality the body calls heart rate variability, which is really just a measure of how well the nervous system is letting Harvey breathe between his own contractions. A higher variability in those deep, slow hours is the system relaxing its grip. It is the wire going quiet. It is the exit door opening. And Ida, when the wire goes quiet, does something she cannot do during the day. She stands down, not permanently. She will be back. She is always back because she is always needed somewhere. But standing down, even briefly, even for the span of a few slow, dark hours, gives the endothelial cells on Harvey's vessel walls a window. A window in which they are not being redirected, not being signaled toward something else, not doing half a job. A window in which the housekeeping gets finished. It is a small window. The body does not ask for much. It asks for enough of these hours, repeated with enough regularity that the maintenance stays roughly caught up. It does not need perfection, it needs a pattern. That is the whole architecture of it, seen plainly. A signal that fires, a signal that stops, a repair that runs in the quiet between them. And a system, sleep, whose entire purpose at one level is to make that quiet possible. Harvey keeps his own kind of record, not in words. In the small, measured differences between one beat and the next, a language of intervals that only the body speaks and only reads in the dark. It did not make the night longer. It made it necessary. The room is dark, and the dark is kind. Sleep is not something you reach for. It comes and finds you. There is a character in this story who does not announce himself. He does not knock. He does not wait at the door. He simply arrives every single morning before the alarm clock does, rising quietly through the blood while the room is still dark, nudging the heart rate upward, coaxing the blood pressure into readiness, preparing the body for the work of a day it has not yet begun. His name is Cortisol Carl, and he is, in his correct form, one of the most useful things the body has ever made. Carl is built from a steroid ring, 4 fused hexagonal shapes pressed together into a smooth, amber gold frame, friendly dot eyes on the front, 2 small arms, and the permanent expression of a man who has places to be. His biological job is simple and essential. Mobilize, pull stored fuel into circulation, sharpen attention. Raise the pressure gently so the heart, so Harvey, can push blood to working muscles and a waking brain. Carl is a morning signal, designed to peak early and then fade, retreating through the afternoon and evening until, by deep sleep, he is at his quietest point of the whole 24-hour turn. That quiet low point matters more than most people ever realize. Here is the thing about Carl and Ida. They are not unrelated. Cortisol, when it runs at its correct rhythm, high in the early morning, low through the night, actually helps keep Ida's signal in check. It is one of the body's own tools for tamping down the inflammatory response after the work is done. When Carl is doing his job well, peaking on schedule and then stepping back, Ida gets a clear signal. The threat is handled, the alarm can ease. But Carl only steps back when the night is long enough to let him. Sleep, deep, unhurried sleep, is the condition under which Carl's levels drift to their floor. It is not a passive thing. The body actively manages his rhythm, coordinating it with darkness and body temperature and the slow oscillations of the sleeping brain. There is a biological machinery behind this, running quietly in the background, making sure Carl's curve peaks and valleys at the right hours. When that machinery gets the time it needs, Carl lands at his low, and the system that runs alongside him, Ida's system, is allowed to quiet in turn. Short nights interrupt this. Not violently, just enough. When sleep is cut short before Carl reaches his floor, he does not fully retreat. He lingers, a little higher than he should be at that hour, a little more ready to mobilize than the body needs at 3 in the morning in a dark room. And a Carl who never quite clocks out is one of the quieter reasons Ida's hum never fully stops near Harvey's walls. Harvey has felt this. He has been feeling it for some time, in that stoic way of his, the way a wall feels damp before anyone notices the leak. His vessel walls, lined by that single-cell thick endothelium that, living in a skin, are the place where Carl's lingering and Ida's hum meet. The endothelium is a remarkable thing. It does not just sit there. It monitors. It adjusts. It produces small signals, molecular notes, that tell the vessel whether to relax or tighten, whether to let something through or keep it out. It is one of the body's most quietly active surfaces, and it does its best work when both Carl and Ida have stood down. Ida knows this. The endothelium is not a fan of background noise. When Ida's signal runs low and unceasing, without a fire to justify it, the endothelium has to work against it, maintaining its own calibration while the alarm rings softly in the walls around it. It can do this for a while. It is designed with some tolerance built in, the way a careful craftsman accounts for the wobble in old timber. But tolerance is not the same as rest. And rest is what the endothelium is reaching for through the long quiet of a sufficient night. Carl, for his part, is not proud of his own role in this. He never asked to stay late. He is, as he has sometimes put it in the quiet way of molecules who do not speak in words, but only in the chemistry they produce. He is only present because no one told him to leave. He stays when the signal that should release him, the long, dark, unbroken stretch of deep sleep, never fully arrives. Not a decision, not a failure of character. Just a man waiting for the memo that keeps not coming. So the picture now has 3 parts, resting inside each other like nested rooms. There is Harvey, the quiet stage, patient, stoic, never missing a beat, his vessel walls holding the story of every alarm that ran long. There is Ida, the fire alarm set a fraction too sensitive, not wrong, not broken, just ringing in a room where the smoke has long since cleared. And there is Carl, the morning signal that never quite reached his floor, still present at an hour when presence itself is a kind of low-grade nudge, keeping Ida's hum from fading all the way to silence. 3 characters, 1 stage, and the same solution for all of them. It did not make the night simpler. It made it the answer. Your hands are open and resting. Your feet are warm. The whole body is settling, one small piece at a time. There is a switch inside the body that nobody talks about at dinner parties. It does not make headlines. It does not have a catchy name. But it runs quietly through everything that happens in a resting chest. And it is one of the most important reasons a good night of sleep does what it does. It is the vagus nerve. Not a muscle, not a hormone. A long, wandering nerve. The word vagus means wandering in Latin, which is exactly right. That runs from the base of the brain all the way down through the neck, past the lungs, and directly to the heart. It is the body's own volume knob for the whole alarm system. When it hums with activity, it tells Harvey to slow down, tells the vessels to ease their tone, tells the chemical messengers circling the bloodstream that the coast is clear. It is the body saying, "You can stand down now." Ida knows this. The vagus nerve is not separate from Ida's story. It is woven straight through it. Because one of the things that nerve does, quietly, without any announcement, is carry a signal that damps down inflammatory activity. Not a blunt off switch. More like a hand placed gently on a shoulder. It says, the fire you were called for has been dealt with. Ease the signal. Let the repair crews finish their work in peace. This happens more reliably in sleep than at any other point in the day. As sleep deepens, the nervous system tilts toward what scientists call the parasympathetic side, meaning the side that governs rest, digestion, and repair, as opposed to the side that governs action and readiness. Harvey feels this shift. His rhythm slows. His variability, that gentle living unevenness between beats that was introduced earlier, rises. And the vagus nerve, now carrying its quieting signal with more consistency, does its gentle work on Ida's level of activity near the vessel walls. The hum does not vanish all at once. That is not how the body works. Nothing in biology flips like a light switch, but it does soften, it does ease. The chemical messengers that keep Ida's signal going lose a little of their sustaining noise. The endothelium, that single-cell thin inner lining of the vessel that runs like wallpaper across Harvey's inner surface, gets a longer, cleaner window to do what it needs to do. And here is the part worth sitting with for a moment. The vagus nerve does not just tell the heart to slow. It also speaks directly to immune cells, including the ones that receive Ida's signal and decide whether to carry it forward. There are receptors on those cells, small locks waiting for a particular key, and the vagus nerve carries that key. When the nerve is active, when the body is genuinely at rest, the key turns. The cells settle. The inflammatory signal loses some of its forward pressure. This is the part nobody pictures when they think about sleep. They picture the brain going dark, the muscles going slack. They do not picture a nerve running from the skull to the heart, quietly negotiating with the immune system, telling it the long day is done. But that is exactly what is happening. And the negotiation only works if the nerve gets the conditions it needs. A night of genuine, settled sleep, the kind where the body sinks, where Harvey's rhythm slows and his variability rises, where Carl's level drifts to its proper floor, that is the condition. That is when the vagus nerve has the full weight of the body's resting state behind it. A short night, a restless one, a night where the brain hovers just above deep sleep without ever quite landing. That is a night where the nerve carries a thinner signal. Not absent, just thinner. And a thinner signal means Ida's low hum, near Harvey's walls, does not receive quite the same gentle hand on the shoulder. The inflammation does not get its full stand-down instruction. Not a catastrophe, not a cliff edge, just a quieter settling, or on some nights no real settling at all. Harvey notices. He does not say much. He never does, but his variability tells the story. Low variability in the morning is Harvey's way of reporting that the nervous system did not fully release its grip through the night, that the volume knob was never quite turned all the way down, that Ida's hum had room to run a little longer than it should have. And this is what makes the whole picture feel, once you see it, so elegantly connected. The heart is not a passive pump waiting for the brain to finish its business. It is in constant two-way conversation with the nervous system, with the immune signal, with the chemical messengers drifting through the bloodstream. The vagus nerve is the line those conversations travel on. Sleep is when that line is clearest, when the signal is strongest, when the body's own instruction to ease and repair can finally get through without interference. Ida knows this hour. The alarm that forgets to stop does not forget because it is broken. It forgets because the quieting mechanism, the nerve, the rhythm, the deep settled rest, never got the chance to do its work. Give it the chance, and the alarm does what alarms are supposed to do when the fire is out. It did not make the picture complicated, it made it whole. Everything in the room is exactly as it needs to be. The dark is doing what dark does best. You can let it. There is a record being kept, not written down anywhere you could find it, not filed in a cabinet or stored in a database. It is kept in the cells themselves, a living record revised every night of every threat the body has ever met and answered. Immunologists call this immunological memory, meaning the body's ability to recognize a threat it has seen before and answer it faster the second time. The immune system does not start from scratch every morning. It keeps a log. White blood cell Willie keeps that log. Willie is a night security officer, and his work is quiet, deliberate, and vast. He is not a dramatic character. He does not run. He does not raise his voice. He moves through the body's corridors with a clipboard and a kind of professional patience, checking records, updating files, flagging what is new. His biology is the immune system's memory, and its slow, careful recalibration through the dark hours, sorting the day's signals, deciding what to keep, deciding what to let go. He has seen Ida's false alarms before. He has the notes on it. He does not panic. He simply keeps the log. Here is the part that matters. While you sleep, and specifically during the deepest phases of sleep, when the body has settled most fully, the immune system does something that is not possible in the same way when you are awake and moving through the world. It sorts. It decides which immune signals from the day were real threats worth remembering, and which were background noise worth releasing. Willie is the one doing that sorting quietly in the small hours. And Ida is one of the signals he is sorting. Her inflammatory signal, the low, steady hum near Harvey's vessel walls, is a kind of noise in the record. Not a false entry exactly, more like a signal that was logged at a volume higher than the situation warranted and never fully corrected. Every night of good sleep gives Willie the conditions to revisit that entry, lower the volume on it, file it more accurately. Every night of broken sleep leaves the entry standing as it was, loud, imprecise, slightly too ready to fire again. That is what nobody quite says plainly. Sleep is not just rest for the body. It is the editing session for the immune record. Harvey has been listening to this from the inside, as he always does. He does not say much. He never has. But he has felt the difference between a night when Willie gets his full shift and a night when he does not. On the full shift night, something in the vessel walls eases. The low hum of Ida's signal loses a little of its persistence. The endothelium, that single-cell thick inner lining of the vessel, the quietest and most essential surface in the whole cardiovascular system, gets its undisturbed window. Harvey's heart rate variability, that small, meaningful sway in the time between beats that measures how fully the nervous system has relaxed, climbs back toward something closer to its natural range. Boom, says Harvey, in the way Harvey says everything. One beat, steady, a little easier than the beat before. The thing about Willie's sorting work is that it has a particular quality during sleep that it cannot replicate at any other hour. The brain, while deeply asleep, releases a wash of slow electrical activity, great rolling waves called slow-wave sleep, meaning the phase of sleep in which the brain's neurons fire together in long, synchronized pulses. During those waves, the immune system and the nervous system seem to exchange information in a way they simply do not manage when the brain is busy with the day. Willie's sorting and Ida's recalibration are timed to those waves. They ride them. Ida knows this. She does not choose her timing consciously, of course. She is a mechanism, not a mind. But the biology arranges it that way. The same slow waves that let the brain consolidate memory, sifting the day's experience into longer storage, also create the conditions in which the immune signal can be turned down, revised, and filed more accurately. The brain's memory consolidation and the immune system's memory consolidation happen at the same time, in the same quiet, in the same deep phase of the night, for related reasons. It is one of the more remarkable coincidences in the body, except that it is probably not a coincidence at all. Willie moves through his shift with the slow patience of someone who has done this 10,000 times. He does not hurry, he does not need to. The work is the work, and it takes the time it takes, and it goes best when nothing interrupts it. Harvey keeps his rhythm in the background. Carl, the body's morning mobilization signal, stays near his floor, low, quiet, not yet reaching for the dial that wakes the system. The vagus nerve, that long line running from brain to heart, carries its dampening signal steadily downward. And Ida near the vessel walls hums a little less, not silent yet, not reset. But the record is being revised, one slow wave at a time, one careful entry at a time. The log is being corrected. The volume on the false alarm is being turned, by the smallest of increments, back down toward where it belongs. It did not make the night simpler, it made it purposeful. Let the eye stay closed. Let the face go soft. There is nothing left to look at, and nothing left to decide. There is a wall. Not a thick wall, barely a wall at all. A single layer of cells, each one fitted precisely against the next, running the entire inner length of every blood vessel in the body. If you unrolled it and laid it flat, it would cover a surface larger than several tennis courts, and yet each individual cell is so thin that light passes through it. That lining is called the endothelium, meaning the layer that faces in. And it is not passive. It does not simply sit there between the blood and the vessel wall like paint on a fence. It is the most active real estate in Harvey's body. Harvey has known this for a long time. He does not say much about it. He just keeps pumping, and he trusts the lining to do what it does. Here is what it does. The endothelium releases small chemical signals that tell the vessels whether to widen or to narrow. It manages the slipperiness of the blood, how easily things move past without sticking. It reads the pressure of the flow, the temperature of the surrounding tissue, the composition of whatever is passing through at any given moment, and it adjusts, constantly, without instruction. It is the body's most attentive listener, and it produces something called nitric oxide, a simple gas molecule lasting only seconds before it dissolves. But in those seconds, it tells the smooth muscle wrapped around the vessel wall to let go. To soften, the vessel widens just slightly, the pressure eases. Harvey feels it as a very small kindness. Ida knows this. She knows it because her signal, the low, humming alarm she sends through Harvey's vessel walls when nothing is truly wrong, lands directly on the endothelium. The endothelium is one of the first surfaces to receive her message. And when Ida's signal is running quietly, chronically, without a real fire to answer, the endothelium reads it as a call to arms that never ends. It shifts its chemistry. It makes less of the softening molecule and more of the ones that raise the walls, tighten the grip, hold the blood a little less loosely. Not dramatically, not all at once. Just a slow and quiet drift away from easy. It is like a road crew that gets called to a site every morning, finds no work to do, but cannot leave. After a while, the road starts to look like a worksite, even when it is not one. The traffic moves differently. Nothing is actually broken. The alarm just never stopped. But here is the thing about the endothelium at night. As sleep deepens, as Harvey's heart rate drops and his rhythm steadies, as the vagus nerve sends its long dampening signal downward and cortisol Carl drifts toward his lowest point of the day, the endothelium gets something it cannot get any other time. It gets quiet. The flow through the vessel slows. The pressure is low and steady. The chemical noise dies down. And in that quiet, the endothelium begins to do the slow work it has been waiting all day to do. It repairs its own junctions, the places where one cell meets the next, sealed against the blood. It restores the chemistry of the surface, resetting the balance between tightening signals and softening ones. It produces a small fresh supply of the dissolving gas that tells Harvey's muscle to let go. And it does all of this precisely because Ida's hum has, for this stretch of the night, finally gone soft enough to let it. The repair window is not long. It does not need to be long. It just needs to happen, every night reliably without interruption, not a renovation. A maintenance pass. The kind of quiet tending that keeps a surface sound not by fixing catastrophe, but by never letting small drifts accumulate into something harder to undo. White blood cell, Willie watches this from his patrol route without comment. He has it on record. The endothelium's overnight chemistry reads differently than it does in the waking hours, and that difference is not incidental. It is the point. Willie filed his notes weeks ago. He has seen the pattern. He simply keeps walking. Harvey, for his part, does not make announcements. He just settles. His rhythm in deep sleep becomes something close to a metronome. Even spacing, even pressure. The endothelium feels the difference immediately. A steady pulse is easier to read than an erratic one, easier to calibrate against. Harvey's heart rate variability, that gentle variation in the time between beats, rises in deep sleep not because Harvey is doing anything more, but because he is finally doing nothing extra. The nervous system stops adding its daytime corrections. What is left is the clean signal underneath. That clean signal is what the endothelium has been waiting for. It is the condition under which the chemistry resets. It is the reason the morning vessel, if the night went well, is not quite the same vessel as the one that closed out the day before. Something was quietly returned to it. Something was reclaimed from the drift. Ida knows this hour. She knows it the way a fire alarm knows a room has gone cool. Not switched off, still present, still capable. Just no longer needed. And in that state, the endothelium does what it was always meant to do. It tends. It holds. It keeps the wall between the blood and everything else clean and supple and sound. It was not a dramatic repair. It never is. It was just the body doing exactly what it does when the room finally goes quiet enough to hear itself. There is no next thing. Nothing waiting on the other side of this moment. Just the weight of the blanket and the slow, easy breath. There is something Harvey has never explained to anyone, mostly because he finds conversation inefficient. But if you pressed him, really pressed him, he might say this. The hardest part of his job is not the pumping. The hardest part is the balance. Not the rhythm, the chemistry. Along the inner walls of his vessels, there is a constant negotiation happening. On one side of the argument, the body's need to clot, to seal a wound before too much is lost. On the other side, the need to keep the blood moving freely without sticking, without thickening into something that belongs in a river that has stood still too long. Both sides of that argument are correct. Both are necessary. And the job of the endothelium, that single-cell thick lining Harvey has been carrying around for a very long time, is to hold the balance between them every second without leaning too far either way. There is a class of small, disc-shaped travelers in the blood called platelets. Their one job, and they are very committed to it, is to arrive first when a vessel wall is damaged. They stick. They clump. They plug the gap. In the right moment, this is one of the most useful things the body knows how to do. In the wrong moment, when there is no actual gap, no wound, just a vessel wall under quiet chemical stress, that same eagerness becomes a problem. Ida knows this. Because Ida's low, chronic hum, the signal she sends out when there is no real fire, just the drifting background warmth she has been generating near Harvey's vessel walls for too long, changes the chemistry of the endothelium in a particular direction. It nudges the balance toward sticking. Not dramatically, not in a way anyone would notice from the outside. Just a small, persistent tilt. The endothelium, held in that low state of alert by Ida's signal, produces a slightly different mix of the chemicals it normally uses to keep the blood easy and the surface smooth. Think of it like the surface of a road. A road maintained well is smooth enough that nothing catches. A road under low, persistent stress, not crumbling, not broken, just slightly roughened, gives passing things a little more to grab onto. The difference is small, but it is not nothing. And here is where it gets interesting. In the way things get interesting at close to 1 in the morning when the house is still. During deep sleep, The endothelium is not simply resting. It is actively tending the road. The pressure from the heart eases, Harvey slows, the rhythm deepens. The mechanical force against the vessel walls drops, and that drop matters. Because the endothelium is sensitive to pressure. When pressure falls and the calm descends, the cells that line Harvey's vessels begin restoring the surface chemistry that keeps the blood honest and flowing. They release a small, precise quantity of a molecule called prostacyclin, meaning a signal that tells platelets to keep moving, not to settle, and they ease back on the signals that tip the balance towards sticking. This is not a dramatic production. There is no announcement. It is housekeeping at the finest possible scale, done in the quiet hours, requiring exactly the conditions that deep sleep provides. Low pressure, low signal noise from Ida. A Carl who has finally reached his floor and stopped adding to the chemistry. And a Willie who has done his filing and is no longer requesting the incident reports be sent across every vessel in the body. All of those quietings have to happen at once. And when they do, the endothelium gets to work. It restores, it smooths. It holds the balance back towards center. What nobody tells you is that this balancing act is always going on. It is not something the body does, only when something is wrong. The endothelium is always producing and adjusting its chemistry, every hour, every heartbeat. The difference that sleep makes is not that it turns the system on. It is that sleep turns the interference down. Ida's hum quiets. Carl retreats. Harvey slows, and his vessel walls feel that ease in the mechanics. And in that reduction of noise, the endothelium's own signal, the steady, calibrating chemistry of a well-tended surface, gets to be the loudest thing in the room. Ida knows this, though she would never describe it as interference on her part. She is an alarm. She does not choose when she rings. She only knows what she was built for, and she was built for fires. On a night when sleep has come in full and the body has gone properly still, she finds herself genuinely quiet, not suppressed, not overridden, just genuinely without cause to ring. The endothelium is smooth. The balance holds. The blood moves easy through Harvey's vessels the way it was always meant to. Harvey does not comment on this. He never does. But his rhythm, on a night like this, says everything he would have said anyway. Slow, even. A long, unhurried space between beats, the way a room sounds when someone finally stopped tapping their foot. The balance was always there to be found. Sleep did not create it. It just made the room quiet enough to let it hold. You are further from waking now than you were a few minutes ago. That is the whole direction of travel. Just down and quieter. There is a system in the body that most people have never heard of, and that is almost certainly because it only works when people are not paying attention. Deep inside the brain, surrounding every neuron, there runs a network of very fine channels, spaces between the cells, So narrow you would need to flatten a single hair down to a fraction of its width before it would fit. These channels carry a clear fluid, the same fluid that cushions the brain and spine, called cerebrospinal fluid, and while you are awake, they are mostly quiet. But when sleep arrives and deepens, something changes. The channels widen, the fluid begins to move. It flows through the network in slow, rhythmic pulses, washing through the spaces between cells, and as it moves, it carries things away. The brain's drainage system, that is what it is. It has a name, the glymphatic system, which you can think of as the brain's own lymphatic cleaning network, and it does nearly all of its work in deep sleep, not in waking hours. Now, here is the part that matters for Ida. Among the things this drainage current carries away are fragments of the signaling molecules that accumulate during a day of full use. Some of those molecules are the same cytokines, the chemical messengers that carry Ida's inflammatory signal. Not all of them, not every trace, but a meaningful portion of the inflammatory signal that has been circulating near the brain during the day is cleared through this slow nocturnal wash. Less signal drifting near Harvey's blood vessels. Less reason for Ida to keep the alarm going. Ida knows this, somewhere in the deep logic of how the body was built. The drainage does not argue with her. It simply removes the ambient noise that kept her antenna raised. And here is what makes this remarkable. The fluid pulses in those brain channels are not random. They follow a rhythm set in part by the heartbeat. Harvey's steady pulse travels up through the great vessels into the fluid that surrounds the brain, and each beat sends a gentle pressure wave that nudges the drainage current forward. Harvey, as usual, says nothing about this. He just does it. Every contraction, every quiet boom in the dark is also a push on the drain. This means that Harvey's own rhythm and the brain's chemical housekeeping are not separate events. They are the same movement, seen from two different angles. When Harvey's heart rate settles during deep sleep, when his variability returns, and his beats soften and space out the way they are meant to, the drainage pulses travel more smoothly and the clearance works better. When his rate stays high and his variability stays low, as it does when sleep is broken and Ida is still running, the drainage current loses some of its regularity. The cleaning is less complete. Turns out the heart is not just a pump for blood. It is also, in its own quiet way, a pump for the brain's overnight clearance work. And when that clearance is less complete, more of the day's accumulated signal remains. More inflammatory residue near the vessels. Ida's threshold stays a little lower. Her alarm, already running without a fire, finds a little more ambient smoke in the room and keeps going. White blood cell Willie, who keeps careful records, has noticed this pattern many times. He does not editorialize. He simply notes it in the log, in the same unhurried hand he uses for everything. The chemical clearing was incomplete. The inflammatory signal did not fully subside. The vessel wall repair window was narrower. He has it on record. The beautiful part, and there is a beautiful part, is that the system corrects. Not all at once. Not in a single night, if many nights have been short. But the correction is built in, ready to begin the moment sleep deepens and holds. Harvey slows, the variability returns. The drainage current finds its rhythm against the backdrop of those slow, wide heartbeats. The clearance runs more fully. Ida's ambient signal drops 1 quiet degree. Carl has already retreated to his floor. The vagus nerve is carrying its dampening signal down into the tissue. Willie is sorting the immune record. The endothelium is restoring its chemistry in the vessel walls. All of it is happening at once, in the same window of deep sleep, because all of it depends on the same condition. The signal quiet enough, and the heart settled enough for the body to do the work it cannot do any other way. None of this was designed to be noticed. The glymphatic channels are invisible. The fluid moves without sensation. Harvey's small shift in rhythm is below the threshold of awareness. Ida's alarm dropping 1 tone quieter in the walls of the vessels that has no feeling attached to it at all. But it happens. Every time the sleep is real and deep and long enough, it happens. The body does not wait for permission. It does not announce what it is doing. It simply begins in the dark, while the breath slows and the limbs grow heavy, and the mind releases its grip on the day. The brain drains, the heart finds its slower rhythm. The alarm still running, still patient, still Ida drops a little. It did not take effort to get here. It only took stillness. Let the jaw unclench. Let the space between the eyebrows go smooth. Small places hold the day longest. Stillness, then. That is where we are. Somewhere in the walls of Harvey's vessels, tucked into the tissue just outside the endothelium, there are cells that have been standing at the window for a very long time. They are called mast cells, resident sentinels, meaning cells that live permanently in the tissue rather than circulating through the blood. They arrived early in life and never left. They are part of the first line of response. The local fire watchers who can trigger Ida's signal before any other system has even been notified. Here is the thing about mast cells. They hold their signal ready in small, tightly packed pouches, granules. The word is sitting inside the cell like buckshot in a closed fist. When a true threat arrives, the fist opens in seconds. The granules burst. Histamine floods the local tissue, blood vessels widen, the alarm goes out. It is fast and it is effective, and under the right conditions, it is exactly what should happen. But mast cells are sensitive. That is their whole design. They do not wait for certainty. They fire on early signs, partial evidence, the suggestion of a threat. Near Harvey's vessel walls, where Ida's low chronic hum has been running, those mast cells have been sitting in a kind of half readiness, not fully triggered, not fully at rest. The fist slightly open. What nobody tells you is that the degree to which mast cells can relax, genuinely relax, granules settled, fist closed, depends in part on the chemical environment around them. And that environment is shaped, quietly and continuously, by the same set of signals that govern everything else in this nested system. Carl's flaw, the vagus nerve's dampening tone, the endothelium's nitric oxide exhale, Willie's updated immune ledger. All of them together, shifting the local chemistry toward quiet. Ida knows this. During deep sleep, the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and repair side, the counterweight to the alert state, increases its hold on the tissue environment near Harvey's vessels. This is not a passive absence of stimulation. It is an active signal, a chemical instruction that reaches the mast cells and tells them, with some biological authority, that the moment is not urgent. The fist eases. The granules settle. The half-readiness softens. This is not a small thing. It means that the lowest floor of Ida's inflammatory signal, the very root of the chronic hum, has a genuine off-ramp. Not suppression, not override. Just the correct signal arriving at last, the one the mast cells have been waiting for, telling them the room is quiet and nothing is coming. Harvey does not comment on this. He never does. But the evidence is there in his rhythm, the slow, wide oscillation of his heartbeat that deep sleep allows, each interval between beats slightly longer than the last. The whole system leaning into its own natural rest with something that would look, from the outside, almost like relief. There is another layer here, and it is worth sitting with. Mast cells, when they do fire, when the fist opens, release a mix of signals, and among them are molecules that recruit more of Ida's machinery, that amplify the local alarm, that make Harvey's endothelium less comfortable and more reactive. In the chronic, low-level state, this amplification is running at a murmur rather than a shout. But a murmur held for months still adds up. The endothelium hears it. The vessel tone hears it. Harvey, who has never missed a beat and never complained, hears it in the way that a room hears a sound that has been going on so long it stopped registering, until it stops. And then something remarkable happens. When the mast cell relaxes, fully, chemically, the way only deep sleep permits, it is not simply quiet. It is also, in that quiet, doing a kind of internal accounting, replenishing depleted granule stores, recalibrating sensitivity thresholds. The cell that emerges from a night of genuine deep sleep is not the same cell that entered it. It is closer to calibrated. Less prone to the half-trigger, the imprecise alarm, the signal fired at background noise. Ida knows this dark. This is the part of the system that does not get named often, because it is slow and it is invisible, and it runs on a timescale of nights rather than minutes. But it is real and it is elegant. The sentinel cells that watch Harvey's vessel walls are themselves being recalibrated by the same sleep that recalibrates everything else. Their threshold is not fixed. It shifts with rest. It shifts with Carl's rhythm, with Willie's sorted ledger, with the vagus nerve's long exhale, and with the parasympathetic signal that reaches them in the deep, slow hours and says, simply, now you can stand down. The granules settle. The fist closes. The chemical environment around Harvey's vessels drifts, imperceptibly towards something easier. This is the part sleep does that nothing else can substitute for. Not because the rest is insufficient. Because the mast cell, like every part of this system, needs the correct signal, not a louder demand, but the right instruction at the right hour. It did not make the hum disappear. It made the room ready for silence. Notice the weight of your head on the pillow. Heavier than you thought. Let it be that heavy. There is a kind of accounting the body does only when the room is still. Not the loud accounting, not the rush of repair after a cut, not the surge of immune cells answering a sudden call. The quiet accounting, the kind that requires a ledger, a low lamp, and nobody asking questions. Deep sleep is when that ledger opens. Harvey has been running all day. Every beat, every rush of pressure down the vessel walls, every small adjustment to posture and breath and effort, all of it logged, all of it felt. He is the most stoic employee in the body. He does not complain, but even Harvey, if you listened closely, would admit that by late in the night something shifts. The pressure in his vessels drops. The rhythm slows, the walls ease, and in that easing something specific happens. The inner wall of each vessel, that single cell thick lining the body calls the endothelium, is not just a passive surface. It is a sensing surface. It reads the flow of blood, the way a hand reads the grain of wood. When the flow is fast and turbulent, the endothelium leans forward, a little tense, producing signals that tell the vessel to stay firm. When the flow slows and smooths during deep sleep, something in that sensing changes. The endothelium reads ease, and it responds with ease. What nobody usually mentions is that the endothelial cells are connected to each other by structures the body calls tight junctions. Think of them as the stitching between the tiles of a mosaic floor. During the low hum of Ida's chronic signal, some of that stitching loosens. Not dramatically, just enough that the wall becomes a little more permeable, a little less precise in what it lets through. Sleep, in part, is when the stitching is reviewed. The endothelial cells, no longer fielding Ida's low alarm, no longer braced against a pressure that has temporarily dropped, go through a quiet round of what amounts to cellular housekeeping. Proteins that hold the junctions together are produced at a higher rate in the deep sleep window. The stitching tightens, not because anything fixed it from the outside, but because the conditions finally allowed the cells themselves to attend to it. Ida knows this. She has been near these walls a long time. She has felt the difference between a vessel wall that is perpetually half-braced and one that has had the room to reset. The braced wall does not mean anything is wrong, exactly. It is more like a door that has been left ajar for so long the hinges have forgotten their natural position. Given enough quiet nights, they remember. Here is the part that earns a moment of honest wonder. The endothelial cells do not simply repair their own junctions in that window. They also regulate a process called shear stress sensing, meaning they track how the blood pushes sideways against the vessel wall as it moves, and they tune their own chemistry in response. During the day, under higher pressure and faster flow, that chemistry tilts toward a state of readiness. The cells are, in the most precise sense, on alert. In deep sleep, as Harvey's rhythm slows and the lateral push of blood against the vessel wall softens, the shear stress signal drops. And the endothelial cells, reading that drop, shift their chemical output. Less of the signals that promote readiness. More of the signals, including nitric oxide, the body's natural vessel softening compound that allow the vessel walls to widen slightly and settle. It is a feedback loop, and it closes only at night. Harvey slows, so the vessel wall reads less pressure, so the endothelium makes more softening chemistry, so the vessel widens a little more, so the heart can maintain its output with even less effort, so Harvey slows a little more. Each part feeds the next. The whole system winds itself down toward its natural resting floor, not because anything told it to, but because the conditions finally permitted it. And Ida, whose low hum had been adding friction to every step of that loop, finds the loop completing without her. Her signal is not extinguished. It is not switched off like a light. It is more that the system stops amplifying it. The cytokines, the chemical alarm messengers, she uses to keep the vessel wall in a state of low readiness, degrade at a natural rate when nothing is refreshing them. In the absence of new threat signals, in the presence of the parasympathetic dampening that deepens through the night, the concentration of those alarm messengers in the tissue around Harvey's vessel walls drifts down. Not to zero. Ida is always present, but down to something that feels, to Harvey's endothelium, like genuine quiet. White blood cell Willie, keeping his careful log nearby, notes the moment without ceremony. He has seen it before. He knows the pattern. The vessel wall that was reading alarm level signals an hour ago is now reading something closer to baseline. Not because the threat changed. Because the night deepened and the loop was finally allowed to close. There is no drama in it. That is the whole point. The body does not need a dramatic intervention to recalibrate. It needs the room, the dark, and the time. It needs Harvey's rhythm to slow far enough that the vessel wall stops bracing. It needs Ida's signal to thin out past the threshold where the endothelium feels compelled to respond. It does not need the alarm to be silenced. It needs the room to grow quiet enough that the alarm, at last, seems beside the point. The day has loosened its grip. Whatever it was carrying, it can put down now. You are allowed to be finished with it. There is a clock inside every cell. Not a metaphor, a real, molecular clock, a set of interlocking proteins that switch genes on and off in a rhythm that runs close to 24 hours. Scientists call this the circadian clock, from the Latin meaning roughly around a day. And the thing about this clock is that it does not just track time. It schedules work. Harvey has one. His vessel walls have one. Every cell lining his endothelium, that single-cell thick inner surface doing its quiet chemistry, carries its own small version of the same ticking arrangement. And late in the sleeping hours, when the body has been still long enough, those clocks align on a single instruction. Repair, not general maintenance. Specific, precise, cellular repair. Here is what that looks like from the inside. The proteins that stitch the endothelial cells together, the tight junctions, are not static. They are constantly being assembled and disassembled, renewed in shifts. The circadian clock governs when that renewal is heaviest. And it turns out the heaviest renewal is scheduled for the later half of sleep, when Harvey's pressure is lowest, when cortisol Carl has retreated to his floor, when the parasympathetic nervous system is running the room. That scheduling is not accidental. Lower pressure means less mechanical stress on the junctions being rebuilt. A quieter immune signal means the endothelial cells are not being pulled toward an alert posture. The conditions that make repair possible are the same conditions that the circadian clock expects to find. And if they are not there, the clock does not cancel the repair. It simply does it in worse conditions, the way a road crew might patch a highway with traffic still moving. The work gets done, but not as cleanly. Ida knows this. She has been running near Harvey's vessel walls long enough to understand that her signal and his clock are in a quiet negotiation. When she is calm, genuinely calm, not merely paused, the clock's repair window opens fully. When she is humming, even softly, even without a fire to answer, the endothelial cells read her cytokines as mild threat traffic and shift some of their resources toward vigilance instead of renewal. Not a dramatic shift, a subtle one, a fraction of energy redirected, a junction rebuilt slightly less carefully. Multiply that fraction across a long run of interrupted nights, and the subtlety adds up. But here is the part that tends to surprise people. The circadian clock does not just schedule repair. It also schedules the production of the body's own anti-inflammatory molecules, the quieting signals that tell Ida her work is done. Several of those molecules are made in larger amounts during the sleeping hours by the endothelium itself as a kind of chemical memo. The room is clear, stand down. One of them is nitric oxide, which the endothelium produces to soften the vessel walls and ease Harvey's work. Another is prostacyclin, the signal that keeps the blood flowing freely rather than gathering near the vessel surface. Both of those molecules are anti-inflammatory in their effect, not because they are fighting Ida, but because a soft, open, freely flowing vessel is simply a vessel where there is nothing for Ida's signal to latch onto. The surface is smooth. The chemistry is calm. Ida looks around, finds no rough edges, no leakage, no signal worth amplifying, and her hum drops to its natural floor. The circadian clock schedules that smoothness. Deep sleep provides the conditions the clock needs to deliver it. What disrupts this is not dramatic, a night cut short by an hour. A spell of shallow sleep that never settles into the slower rhythms. Carl running late into the morning and keeping his mobilizing chemistry in circulation past his shift. Each of these moves the endothelium's repair window, shortens it, degrades the conditions it needs, or leaves Ida's signal just active enough that the cells spend slightly more of the window in alert posture and slightly less in renewal. Harvey, for his part, says very little about this. He is stoic in the way that only something that has never stopped working can be. But his heart rate variability, the gentle variation between beats that signals a relaxed, parasympathetically governed system, tells the story more honestly than he would. When the circadian clock has had the quiet it needs, that variability is wider, softer, more flexible. The beats come in an easy rhythm that is not quite regular, because true relaxation is never perfectly metronomic. It breathes. When the clock has been given poor conditions, the variability narrows. The rhythm becomes a little more rigid, a little more controlled, as though the system is still holding something in readiness. Not distress, just a residue of alertness that was never quite given permission to release. Ida reads that rigidity the same way she reads everything near Harvey's walls, as a signal worth noting. A narrow rhythm is not a fire, but it is not a fully empty room either. It is a room where the lights are still on at 3 in the morning, and she cannot quite decide if something left them on by accident or if there is still someone there. The circadian clock, given enough quiet, makes the room dark. It does not argue with Ida. It does not override her. It simply does what it has always been scheduled to do, and in doing it, removes every small reason she had left to keep the hum alive. It did not silence the alarm. It made silence the only thing that made sense. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing you have forgotten. The night is long, and it belongs to you. And now the night is very deep. This is the hour when the body stops explaining itself and simply does the work. No announcements, no signals rising, just the long, quiet labor of a system finding its floor. Harvey is beating slowly now, not straining, not counting. Just the old, steady rhythm he has always known, the one he was built for, the one he returns to every time the world goes still. Boom. That rhythm is not just sound. It is space. Space between beats where the vessel walls can ease, where the pressure drops just enough, where the endothelium, that single, patient layer of cells lining every vessel, can do the small, careful work it saves for exactly this hour. Ida is quieter now. Not silent, perhaps, but quieter than she has been all day. Her signal, that low and sourceless hum that has been running near Harvey's walls without a fire to answer, has begun to fade at its edges. The way a sound fades when the last person who remembered it finally stops listening for it. There was never a fire. There was only the alarm. And the alarm, given enough quiet, given enough uninterrupted dark, eventually remembers that there is nothing left to ring for. Ida knows this. Cortisol Carl has found his floor. He is not gone. He is never entirely gone, but he is as low as he will be all night. His amber presence, warm and mobilizing in the morning, has dimmed to almost nothing. And without that lingering warmth to keep Ida's signal nudged forward, the last reasons for her hum to continue are slipping quietly away. One by one, the way embers cool. Willie has been at his work for hours now, sorting, filing, revising the record. He has been pulling back the imprecise signals, the old half-finished entries that kept Ida reading the vessel walls as slightly too interesting, slightly too worth watching. He does not rush, he never rushes. He simply keeps the log, and the log is getting cleaner, line by line, through the long middle of the night. The vessel walls are smooth, not because something fixed them in a single dramatic moment, because 100 small corrections happened quietly, one after the other, each one requiring only that the night be allowed to continue undisturbed. The endothelium's tight junctions, the careful stitching between its cells, are holding. The chemistry that keeps the vessel surface soft and easy, the signal that tells the blood to keep moving freely rather than catching and pooling, is running at its natural pace. Not forced, not compensating. Just running the way it runs, when everything else is quiet enough to let it. Harvey's heart rate variability, his own quiet measure of how relaxed the whole system has become, has widened into something generous. Long gaps, easy gaps. The kind of rhythm that means the alarm has stopped reaching him, and the nerve that carries the dampening signal from the brain to his walls is doing exactly what it was designed to do in exactly these conditions. Not a flood, just enough. There is something worth sitting with in the middle of this deep, slow hour. All of it, the cortisol retreating, the vagus nerve humming its quieting signal, Willie revising his long immunological record, the endothelium restoring its gentle chemistry, Ida's alarm losing its last reasons to ring, all of it happens together. Not because anyone planned it, because this is what the body was built to do, given the right conditions. Given darkness, given stillness, given time. Harvey has never missed a beat. He has never called in sick. He has never asked for anything that could not be answered by a long, undisturbed night and the quiet that comes with it. He would not say so himself. He is not that kind of person. But the rhythm, the wide, easy, unhurried rhythm he is keeping right now, says it plainly enough. Boom. And somewhere in the vessel walls, the last trace of Ida's sourceless hum is thinner than it has been in hours. Not gone, not promised to be gone, but thin and thinning still. The night is doing what nights were always meant to do. It is making silence, the only thing that makes sense. Let the shoulders be heavy now. Let the breath go slow. The body is still here. It has been here all along, doing this work in the dark, asking only that the dark be allowed to last a little longer. There is nothing left to listen for. The alarm is resting, Harvey is resting, and so quietly are you. Everything is quieter than it was a moment ago. Even the small sounds have gone soft around the edges. The hour is deep now. Not late in the way that feels long. Late in the way that feels finished. The kind of late where the whole body has settled into something it has been waiting all day to find. Harvey is still here. He is always here. Beat after slow, easy beat, the same as it has always been, steady, unhurried, asking nothing of anyone. Boom. His vessel walls are quiet. Not silent the way an empty room is silent. Quiet the way a room is quiet when the people inside it are finally, deeply at rest. Ida is here too. She has been here the whole time. But her signal, that low, soft hum she kept near Harvey's walls for so long, has drifted down close to its natural floor. Not gone, Ida is never truly gone. She is a fire alarm, and a fire alarm that is sleeping is still a fire alarm. It is simply not ringing. And that is all it ever needed to do. Not ring for a little while. Ida knows this. The endothelium, that single, quiet layer of cells lining the inside of Harvey's vessels, is doing the small, careful things it does best in hours like this one. Stitching, softening, sending out the tiny signals that keep the surface smooth and easy. Nobody asks it to. It simply knows when the conditions are right, and the conditions are right now. The pressure is low. Carl is at his floor. His amber warmth has faded back to its smallest, quietest glow, still there, still steady, but resting at the bottom of the long arc he travels every single day. He will rise again before morning. He always does, but not yet. Not yet. Willie is somewhere in the background, keeping his log in the unhurried way he keeps everything. The day's signals are filed. The old records are updated. The body's immune memory is a little sharper now than it was at sundown, and a little less likely to send Ida out on a call that does not need answering. Willie does not rush this work. He has done it every night. He will do it again. Harvey's heart rate variability, the small, natural variation between one beat and the next, the measure of how fully the nervous system has released its grip, is wide now. Unhurried. Each beat lands a little differently than the one before it, and that small difference is the sign of a system that is genuinely at ease. The vagus nerve hums its long, quiet passage from the brain all the way down to Harvey, carrying the body's own dampening signal, not suppressing anything that matters, only turning the volume down on the things that no longer need to be loud. Ida feels it. She always feels it when the vagus nerve is doing its work. It is like a hand placed gently on a ringing bell. The sound does not stop all at once. It fades ring by ring until the air around it is still. That is where the air is now. Still. The glymphatic drainage, the brain's slow, sleep-driven clearing current, moves in gentle pulses, each one timed to Harvey's heartbeat. The last of the day's accumulated signal drifts with it, slowly, no rush. There is no rush at this hour. Harvey beats. The current moves, the signal clears, beat, move, clear. The mast cells near Harvey's vessel walls are resting in the way they only rest in hours like this. Granule stores drawn closed, sensitivity turned down to its natural, unhurried floor. Not asleep. They do not sleep, but they are as calm as they ever get, and their calm is part of why Ida's hum is so faint right now. All of it is connected. It was always connected. Harvey's slowness allows the pressure to drop. The pressure drop allows the endothelium to soften. The endothelium's calm signals allow Ida's hum to fade. Ida's fading allows Willie to revise more cleanly. Carl's retreat allows all of it to hold. One system, nested inside itself, waiting for exactly this. The breath is easy. The shoulders have let go of whatever they were holding. The weight of the body is fully down, not balanced, not braced, just down, belonging to the surface beneath it. Harvey keeps his rhythm. Boom. Ida rests near her quietest floor. The vessel walls are smooth and still. And somewhere in the deep dark, in the middle of a night that is doing exactly what a night is supposed to do, the alarm that forgot to stop has, at last, very nearly fallen silent. Ida knows this hour. Let the back settle into the mattress. Let it take your weight completely. It has been waiting all day to do that. There is a moment, somewhere in the last hour before the first grey edge of morning, when the whole system simply rests. Not because anything forced it, not because a signal said stop. Just because everything that needed to happen has happened, and the body, in its unhurried and ancient wisdom, allowed it. Harvey is still. Not stopped, never once, but slow and easy, holding a rhythm so steady and wide that it barely resembles work. His vessel walls are soft. The endothelium, that single-cell thin inner lining, is doing what it does best in the quiet, sealing its junctions, releasing its softening chemistry, keeping the surface smooth. No alarm asking it to stay alert. No low hum pressing it toward a readiness it does not need. Ida is here. She is always here, but she is sitting down. The signal that drifted, that hummed without a fire, that settled into Harvey's vessel walls and rang softly in empty rooms for months. That signal is resting near its true flaw. Not gone, because Ida is not meant to be gone. Just calibrated, dialed back to the level a healthy body holds in stillness, the level that says ready but not called. Carl reached his floor hours ago. His rhythm will turn again before long. That is his nature, and it is a good nature when it runs on time. But right now, in the deep dark before the turn, his presence near Harvey's walls is as low as it ever gets. That absence is itself a kind of quiet gift. Willie is still filing the way Willie always files, patient, methodical. Somewhere in his careful records, the note on Ida's signal is a little more precise than it was yesterday, a little less likely to misfire. The record is better for the night. The vagus nerve carries its long, slow dampening signal from the brain down to the heart and out into the tissue, and everything it touches eases a fraction more. Harvey's heart rate variability is wide and flexible, the way it is supposed to be, the way it can only be when the system is genuinely at rest. And Ida, the fire alarm who learned the hardest way what it costs to ring without a fire, is quiet. Ida knows this. The night did its work, not in a rush. Not in a single night, and not forever. Just this one night, doing what a night is built to do. That is enough. While you sleep, inflammation Ida is already at work. Near the walls of Harvey's vessels, the endothelium is laying down its last careful repairs, sealing junctions, releasing nitric oxide to keep the vessel surface soft and smooth, and letting the platelet balancing chemistry settle back to its natural, quiet equilibrium. Harvey's heartbeat is driving the final slow pulses of glymphatic clearance, washing the last residual cytokines, those inflammatory messenger molecules, gently away from the vessel walls, so that when morning comes, the signal Ida carries will start from the lowest, cleanest floor it can find. You don't have to do anything. Your body knows exactly what to do. It's been doing this work for your entire life. Every single night. So let it, trust it. And as you drift deeper now, inflammation Ida will be here when you wake up. Quieter, calmer, better, sleep well.